President Biden's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week in just the last 4 days. President Biden's been hit by a Supreme Court setback, a defeat on voting rights, historic inflation, and cratering poll numbers. And it's only the second week in January. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, and this is Outnumbered. I'm joined by my co-host, Emily Campagno, and Julie Banderas, and also Jillian Turner. And in the center virtual seat, Fox & Friends weekend co-host, Will Cain. It's a week the president will likely want to forget. First, the Supreme Court yesterday blocked the president's sweeping vaccine and testing mandate for most businesses, dealing a major blow to his vaccination push. Also yesterday, Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema said she will not vote for the filibuster changes, essentially dooming the president's so-called voting rights bill. And on Wednesday, inflation soared to its highest level in 4 decades, with no signs of slowing down. Then came the devastating poll numbers, the president's job approval crashing to 33%, less than 1 year on the job. But when pressed about the administration's struggles, the White House's Jen Psaki counters with a rather bizarre answer. See for yourself.
Frankly, things just seem like they're going pretty poorly right now for the White House. Build Back Better is being blocked, voting rights is being blocked, diplomatic talks with Russia, inflation's at a 40-year high, the virus is setting records for infection. So I'm wondering, at what point do you take stock and say that things need to change internally?
We could certainly propose legislation to see if people support bunny rabbits and ice cream, but that wouldn't be very rewarding to the American people. So the president's view is we're going to keep pushing for hard things.
Yeah, quite an exchange there. Julian, it was a really pointed question there from Justin Sink about the crises America's facing right now. I mean, CDC messaging is just one, Build Back Better, not getting passed. The list goes on. And then just as we're coming to air, Julian, there was some new, rather alarming reporting about Russia in the United States. And could you take us through that?
So what happened this morning, Kayleigh, is that a senior U.S. government official shared with reporters the fact that there exists U.S. intelligence that shows Russia is gearing up to launch a false flag operation just inside Ukraine's border. So essentially, in layman's terms, that means the U.S. government believes Russia is sending its own proxy fighters across the border into Ukraine to stir up trouble, possibly to launch an attack against Russian forces. The Russian government wants to use that as a pretext to launch a full-scale ground invasion into Ukraine. What's notable about this, aside from the fact that it's shocking and terrifying, is that so far the U.S. government is now saying this to reporters, right? But they have not provided the underlying intelligence to put their money where their mouth is. So this intelligence, it has reportedly been shared with our foreign intelligence allies, but it's not being shared with the American people. This politically, Kayleigh, opens the administration up to the criticism from Russia that we're making it up. And the Russian government has spared no expense and no effort to try and denigrate the CIA and the national security community here in the United States for years. So I anticipate the next step coming is that the Russian government is going to start fighting back against this morning's reporting and saying it's simply not true.
Wow, Will, I think this illustrates, why I wanted to start with this, just kind of the rolling series of crises that we seem to face. It started with Afghanistan, and then there's all of these domestic crises, economically speaking and otherwise. Now this new reporting about intelligence we have from Russia. This, of course, comes after President Biden had 2 phone calls recently with Vladimir Putin. It's just so alarming. And then you look at the domestic agenda, which really kind of crystallized yesterday when President Biden goes to the Hill for the 3rd time in-person visit to the Hill, and for the 3rd time fails to get what the intended legislation passed. And now he pivots to this really divisive rhetoric, I would argue, over voting rights. If you don't support federalizing of elections, you're a segregationist, the speech we heard this week. And even his fellow Democrats, Will, are criticizing him for some of the rhetoric we heard in that speech. Let's take a listen.
Perhaps the president went a little too far in his rhetoric.
If he was trying to get votes, it was not the vote-getting speech. I think he gave a "you're going to hell" speech.
Yeah, it's really crazy, Will, to see those two and also David Axelrod coming out and criticizing the president.
Yeah, so to walk through this very quickly, Jillian's reporting is fascinating. I'm not going to use the word skeptical, but I'm going to approach this news cautiously because on the heels of, as you described it, Biden's very bad week, we need to be careful that the news spins away from this very bad week. As to this news, Kaylee, that poll shows he has a 33% approval rating. It's even more fascinating when you dig into it. 25% among independents, 24% with young people, and 28% with Latinos. That's down from 70%. Now, here's why, in my estimation, and as to what you just alluded to, as to the clip that you just played. The president held himself out during the campaign as the Messiah. He demagogued that he would be able to stop coronavirus. He filled the American public full of fear. And then through sheer incompetence, he failed. And in response, what does he do? He divides the American people. He's divided us based upon vaccination status, based upon race, based upon party, and he has returned to fire and brimstone, not gin sake, bunnies and ice cream, but fire and brimstone, and that's lost the American people. We're done with this division. We're done with the lies that create this division, and we're done with fear.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's really alarming, you know, Emily, when you see a president, Axios made this point this morning, who doesn't have Republicans. We wouldn't think he would. He's, of course, a Democrat president, but he doesn't have moderate Democrats. And he's really ostracizing the left flank of his party if he doesn't get these domestic agenda items through. It's really quite a quagmire. In the media, Emily seems to have taken notice. Let's roll the tape. Here's what they have to say about Biden's week.
Every time I think the White House thought they've hit bottom, there seems to be a new bottom.
President Joe Biden has had a very tough week with setbacks for his agenda, COVID complications and the Supreme Court blocking his vaccine mandate, inflation and international turmoil, just to name a few.
And that was CNN, Emily.
Yeah, exactly. His biggest fans are now leveling criticism. And I think to your point, Kaylee, when you hear them talking about a no good, very bad, horrible, terrible week, well, then that belies the fact that it's been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad presidency, right? To me, it's not just a week. It means it's a pattern. We've seen failure after failure that has resulted in the loss of Americans' lives on many fronts, including there in Afghanistan and here on the home front with lack of testing and the like. And I have to say, you know, she brought up that Supreme Court ruling yesterday, and specifically it was the common sense ruling we were all hoping for, the one that had to do with OSHA. And the Supreme Court essentially confirmed, yes, that the authority to equip OSHA with laws, to create laws, it stops at workplace mandates. It has to do with occupational safety. It doesn't have to do with broad, sweeping public health mandates or health safety measures. And the court went on to say, which I thought was so interesting, that yes, COVID's a risk at the workplace, just like it's a risk at ball games and in the home and in the subway. And it said it's not an occupational hazard, it's just something that you encounter at work. And it said this kind of universal risk is no different from the day-to-day dangers that we all face from crime, pollution, or any number of communicable diseases, which to the crime part, I think are actually far more dangerous, especially under this president, Kaylee.
No doubt, and you alluded to this, Emily, the fact that it wasn't just a bad week, it's been a bad year all the way around. Julie, Axios said this, quote, they wrote about the epic failures of the Biden administration. They say this, in the 2 months since signing the $1 trillion infrastructure bill into law, President Biden has, by almost every measure, bombed big time on the things that matter most. The bottom line, Build Back Better was supposed to be Biden's FDR moment. Voting rights could have been his LBJ moment. Instead, he's likely to end year one with neither. That is a really, I think, accurate but devastating assessment of the first year of his presidency.
It absolutely is. And the list is just so hard to keep track of. It's not just Build Back Better. He's got this infrastructure plan that he wants to pass. And you look at the COVID numbers, there are 1.4 million new COVID cases in this country. That alone is just mind-blowing, considering this president actually promised that he would get COVID under control. But then as we approached the holiday season, knowing that COVID was going to spread like wildfire, we didn't have home tests. We won't be seeing those until later this month. And as far as inflation is concerned, we saw the highest spike in 4 decades in inflation alone. So the fact that the president's approval rating is now sitting at the lowest at 33% is of absolutely no surprise. And now Democrats aren't even getting on board. And that speech that he gave, that segregationist, divisive speech, I mean, right as you are at your lowest of lows, I mean, there is no better way to kick yourself where it hurts. It's like he's digging his own grave. I will say this, though, and I think we missed a very poignant part about Jen Psaki's news conference. Did you guys hear her tease bunnies and ice cream? Because I'm actually more interested about that.
Yeah.
I love bunnies and ice cream.
Yeah, especially on a Friday.
I mean,
like ice
she
cream,
sold me.
Will, she sold me on that. Will, is there any turning this around? Because there have been presidents who their first year doesn't go so well and they're able to turn it around. I don't know if that's possible here, especially as I see this pivot to division on vaccinations and also on voting legislation. I mean, is there any way out of this?
You know, that's the suggestion, I believe, of David Brooks of the New York Times. Pivot to the center. A leftist agenda hasn't worked. But the problem is, I think the entire party is pointed in the direction of division. It's pointed in the direction of villainizing your opponent. And not just on vaccination, as you point out. When it came to voting rights, they doubled back down, tripled back down. I don't know where we are on race once again. So I don't know if they can. How about that, Kaylee? But I don't think that they will. I don't think they will pivot in some novel direction.
Yeah, for the sake of the country, I really hope they do. There's a lot of Americans hurting, certainly economically. So let's hope for the best.